So much news to take in.
By the end of the day, you just want it all to make sense.
That's why you listen to John Perlman on your drive home.
You may not always get the answers you want,
but you're guaranteed better questions
and all sides of the story.
Every show is an attempt to tie up any loose ends
and give you a better view of where things stand before you get home.
John Perlman is on 702.
Monday to Friday,
3 to 6 p.m.
Let's walk the talk.
Early breakfast.
Monday to Friday,
4 a.m. to 6 a.m.
on 702 and CapeTalk.
Coming up 13 minutes past 5 o'clock, a very good morning to you. This is a bonus day, and of course today marks 2026, marks the 70th anniversary of the historic 1956 Women's March to the Union Building, a defining moment in South Africa's journey towards equality and justice. And we look at the strength of women. Watint Abafazi, Watint Umkoboto is strike a woman, strike a rock, which is the term that has been coined for many, many years. And in this special broadcast, we continue the conversation a day after Women's Day by shining a light on the work being done by the Viva Foundation to empower women and communities, and reflect on how far South African women have come and the challenges that still remain, and what meaningful empowerment looks like on the ground. And we chat this morning to Meleney Bough Berry-Kriel, the founder and CEO of the Viva Foundation, joining us this morning as the organization to discuss the organization's work and importance of sort of creating opportunities for women to build stronger and more independent futures. Meleney, a very good morning to you and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Zain, and good morning to your poor listeners who have to be awake on a public holiday this hour.
I think they love us, and the thing is that you in any case wake up, because if it's a one-day holiday, you tend to wake up the normal time that you wake up. I have had to explain to a 14-year-old yesterday, and I wonder if you probably, and the listeners will probably come across this conversation with your children, especially girls, on Women's Day. I had to explain about the fact that Banyana was paid less than Bafana, that a woman sitting in an executive position until today even still gets paid less than what a man in an executive position gets paid. So what do you think are some of the sort of biggest achievements for South African women since the dawn of democracy?
I think we have done a great deal for women on paper. But for the women I work with, the fundamental realities of life have not changed nearly enough. You see, because I work at the ground level in informal settlements in townships. Those are the women I work with and the families I work with. And they are not safe. So what is the value of rights if a woman is not safe enough to exercise them? So I think, and it's true what you say, they're still getting paid less, but I don't want to dismiss anything and everything that we have accomplished in 70 years. Clearly, for many women, life looks different today than for their mothers and grandmothers. But unfortunately, and those are the ones I work with, life looks very similar to 70 years ago. And that is a new inequality, because I think inequality is our biggest problem, but this is a new inequality that we have changed women's, legal status. But for most women, we have not changed their lived reality. And that, I think, is a big problem.
Yeah. I was chatting to somebody in the week, actually, about that particular fact, that a woman is still not safe. She is still in danger when she gets up in the morning early, leaving a child or two at home, because 61% of our households are headed up by women, single women. leaving the children at home, walking to the bus stop or walking to the train station at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. She's not safe. And when she needs to go to a toilet at night, for instance, and walk a distance of 200, 300 meters to the toilet at 11 o'clock at night, she's not safe either. She exposes herself. But Meleney, when you look at the progress that we've actually made, where do you think the biggest shortcomings still lie, and what needs to be developed or improved to genuinely empower women?
I think, so we know that basically there are two South Africas that live next to each other. There are the women judges, scientists, CEOs, doctors, MPs, entrepreneurs. We've got a great constitution that guarantees equality, and there is many women with opportunities. I find myself a woman with opportunities, and I have opportunities that my mother and my grandmother could not dream of. But that's one South Africa. And I think the second one is that ground level one where women are not safe, that you have just described. And so I think safety comes before empowerment. And we measure our successes wrong. We measure our success at the top. And so we could think, because there are women who are doing great right now, we're okay. Because we forget these at the bottom where our shortcomings lie. We can't say to somebody, you're safe, when she's afraid of the man next to her in the bed. So a right that cannot be exercised safely is a limited right, and I think that is our shortcoming. We are still describing violence against women decades into democracy as a crisis, which we should question ourselves. What is our response reaching? How is our response reaching the place where these women live? And we need to start focusing on helping women survive instead of just changing what we say. Making plans. We love to make a plan in our country, So I think often we will have a conference about something and we have lofty plans and we take the photos and we hear there's a new thing. But society remains violent and unsafe. Yeah. And so we are treating symptoms. And I think this is our problem. Having this legislation doesn't make women safe yet. And the problem with the crime and the violence, not only against women, we know that violence against men is just as real, even more so, because there's even more men killed. But with women, it's a vulnerability. Yeah. And so you've got a vulnerable woman, and that is where the crime and the violence and the lawlessness in our country affects that vulnerable woman more so than and children, obviously, than the rest of us. Because when the economy doesn't thrive, people are not even safe to conduct business, leave alone women are safe. So it makes all of us unsafe, and it's not a great space. And women will feel it more, and children will feel it more.
Chatting this morning to Meleney Bough Berry-Kriel, and she's the founder of the Viva Foundation. And we're talking about the fact that, creating opportunities for women and making women feel safer when in this particular country where they definitely are not. And the president has sort of appealed to people and appealed over and over and over again. But as Meleney says, it's the question of reaching the ground, reaching those in the communities where the women are vulnerable. Meleney, for those people who are not familiar with the Viva Foundation, what work do you do and how are you making that difference in the lives of women?
So we have a few focus areas. Obviously, we focus very strongly on the child, and the education is a strong focus. Food security is a strong focus. We have projects, Aqua Grow and food, the Viva Food Forest that we've launched, because we have identified basic things like food insecurity, but even just women's rights and the prevention of sexual violence is very strongly on our heart. Unfortunately, it's a project that has no funding. So we have to be very creative on how to reach women and how to teach them how to prevent sexual violence, gender-based violence, how to be a community. So we develop programs, we give training, but it's about giving a person a skill and not just handing things out, but to teach people and to change people through education and then practical help, of course. You cannot, so we've got a long-term plan. We say we want to remedy the causes of abject poverty. Clearly, when you are working in our communities, you've got to address the immediate symptoms. That we do. But through education and skills and bigger projects for the future, and that we've started and launched lofty things like our aqua grow, just teaching people modern farming. Because honestly, if you have to farm for food security on the little space that a person in a township has available, it's not going to work. You cannot work like that. So there are ways, aquaponics and things like that. So we're excited about that. But at the bottom of it lies remedy the causes of the poverty in the future. And unfortunately, especially for women, we have to take that online. We have to talk online, we have to train, and we make our training available, community-based prevention strategies. That's what we're doing.
Well, as we continue through Women's Month, what is your message, and actually, how can people get hold of you at the Viva Foundation? I know that if we grow and we foster the girl child and we foster safe areas and safe spaces for women, that we will have a better country and we will have a better future going forward.
If people want to reach us, most definitely our Facebook page is an easy one for everybody, accessible in the public. Viva.village is our Facebook page. Our website, all our contact information is there. It's vivafoundation.life, LIFE. So that's our Facebook page, and they'll find contact details of me and the team on there. But yeah, so I mean, as for my message is, we have to get it together. There are such easy ways to just address simple things. Our policing is so inadequate. I get so mad when I hear money spent on something frivolous when I know you could put in more police stations. The amount of police stations we have in our country is just dismal.
We, for instance, look at the fact that 600 million rand was made available for that one particular day where they were going to shut down the country, and then also on the other hand, we looked at another whole lot of millions that have been spent on the army in certain areas, and that is Meleney Bough Berry-Kriel, the founder of CEO at the Viva Foundation, and you can get their details on Facebook at viva.village.